Join Kids Hat family.
Tofu, what in the world are you trying to do?
I am trying to pluck those juicy fruits from this tree.
But do you think you will be able to pluck them? They are so high.
Oh, I wish I could fly and pluck those fruits. I so wish I had wings.
To wish is not bad, but one should be conscious about the consequences. Come, I'll tell you a story. The Tortoise and the Eagle. A young tortoise was lazing around the riverbank, looking at the birds flying in the sky. He stared at them and started thinking out aloud.
I wish I could fly like those birds, up high in the sky and watch the beautiful sceneries and beauty of the world from top of the world. Oh, I so wish that.
Nearby, an eagle was sitting on a stone, listening to what the tortoise was thinking out loud, and couldn't resist but ask,
Why do you want to fly? You should be happy with what you are gifted with.
I wish I could fly with no trouble of crawling on the ground.
So say that you want to fly because you don't want to crawl, not because you wish to see the world from the sky. Anyway, what will I get in return for making you fly in the sky?
I'll give you the riches of gold from the Red Sea.
So the eagle grabbed the tortoise in its claws and soared up high in the sky, making him see all the beautiful sceneries of the world. Flying higher in the clouds and closer to the stars. It was indeed a mesmerizing moment for the tortoise. While the eagle was flying over the riverbank, the rest of the tortoise were basking in the sun. Suddenly, the tortoise flying high up in the sky said,
I wish my friends could watch me flying so high in the sky. I am sure they would get jealous watching me.
What? Why would you want your friends to get jealous of you?
I want them to see that I can fly and they cannot. It's such a nice feeling.
What an evil friend this tortoise is, thought the eagle. With this, the eagle dropped him on the ground and asked for his treasure.
Now give me my reward.
There is no reward. I was just kidding about the gold so that you could take me for a ride.
And with this, the tortoise left. The eagle couldn't tolerate his insult and decided to teach him a lesson. So the next day, the eagle went to the tortoise and said,
Hey, would you like to go for a sky ride again?
Yes, sure. I would love to.
The eagle once again picked him up and clenched him in his claws. The tortoise, while enjoying the ride, said to the eagle,
Why did you bring me again for the ride, even though I dishonored my promise of rewarding you?
That's because, Tortoise, you wish to make your friends jealous, but at my cost. And now I'll let you enjoy the free fall.
The eagle let his claws loose, and the tortoise went falling down. Screaming for help and flying no longer, he crashed on the ground with a thud. Thanks to his shell, he didn't get injured. Soon, his old friends surrounded him and said,
Hey, young friend, you wanted to see the world from high up in the sky. To dream big is not a sin, but to dream it at the cost of others is just not justifiable.
I have learnt my lesson now. I should be thankful to God for what I am blessed with. It was my shell only that saved my life. I should be happy with what I have, and also should not use others for my selfish reasons. I surely have learnt my lesson.
Tia, now I know what you were trying to say. I learnt a lesson too. One should think about the consequences before one wishes for something. I should be happy with what I am blessed with. I should rather look for an alternative to pluck those fruits. Wait, I'll get a ladder. Tofu, you learn things quite fast. Tofu, please finish your breakfast first.
No, I want to play first. I don't like it anyway.
Tofu, it is not nice to leave your food like that. You should be thankful to your food and eat it respectfully. The first Thanksgiving. This is a very old story. It is from the year 1620, when a group of pilgrims came from Europe in a ship called the Mayflower to the east coast of United States. We have reached this new land, and we shall make it our home now. Let us call it Plymouth.
Yes, and this big rock by which Plymouth is recognized will be called the Plymouth Rock. We shall make a settlement here.
And so the pilgrims got busy trying to make a settlement in their new home. But they had arrived in the peak of winter with little resources and no food.
Oh, this is such a difficult winter. We have almost no food. The men go and catch whatever fish they can find in the freezing lakes, but it is not always enough.
Yes, and a sickness has taken over our people. We have lost so many strong men and women already. It is very difficult without proper food and supplies to take care of them.
Yes, look at what happened to our brother James Chilton and his wife. They've both died, leaving behind little Mary Chilton.
Poor Mary, she's only 13 years old, but without her mother and father to take care of her, we will have to make sure she is safe. And so Mary was taken under the care of all other pilgrims. But it was a hard sickness, and people died from extreme cold, lack of food, and the sickness that had come over their settlement. This meant Mary had to work hard. Many of the older women amongst the pilgrims had died, and the remaining work had to be shared by everyone. Mary took care of cooking and laundry for the men and boys whose wives or mothers had died. Then one day in March, two strangers called Samoset and Squanto visited the settlement. They were native Indians who lived on the land.
Hello, settlers. Welcome to your new home.
Thank you. Who are you?
I am Samoset. I am the leader of the Abenaki people, and this is Squanto from the Wampanoag tribe.
Hello, Samoset and Squanto. How is it that you speak such good English?
I have had experience with other settlers who know English.
We see that we are having trouble with food. Squanto here can teach you how to grow food on this soil.
And so the pilgrims made new friends and learned how to grow food in their new home. They learned that using fish as fertilizers will help their crops grow better. With the help of Squanto and the other people of his tribe, the pilgrims grew a healthy crop of beans, pumpkins, and corns. To celebrate the harvest, the pilgrims invited King Massasoit of the Wampanoag tribe to the feast. King Massasoit's men helped the settlers hunt for the feast. And large feast of corn, roasted meat, pie, fruits was laid. The pilgrims dedicated this day to getting together with friends and family and thanking God for the abundance of good food and loving people in our lives.
I get it now, Tia. We should be thankful for the abundance of food we have. I shall respectfully eat whatever is served to me.
That is so wonderful, Tofu. I am proud of you.
Tia, I'm really hungry. What's for lunch?
Come, Tofu. Mom has made your favorite meal today.
My favorite? Yum! Oh Tia, something got stuck in my throat.
How many times have I told you not to eat in such a hurry?
But I was hungry, Tia.
You need to listen to this story. The Goose That Laid Golden Eggs. Once upon a time, in a village, there lived a poor farmer with his wife. They had nothing but a little farm where they grew vegetables that they could eat. However, he managed to save a little money each time he sold vegetables from his farm. Eventually, he saved up enough money to buy a goose. He took it home and made a nest for it to lay eggs. The goose will produce eggs which he could use for selling, eating, and making bread, thought the farmer. The next morning, when he went to gather some eggs for his breakfast, he lifted the goose, and to his surprise, the goose had laid a golden egg. The next morning, he found another egg, and the next, and the next. Slowly and steadily, the farmer and his wife were becoming richer and richer. Just think, if we could have all the golden eggs that are inside the goose, we could be richer much faster.
You're right. We wouldn't have to wait for the goose to lay her egg every day.
So the couple killed the goose and cut her open. Only to find that she was just like every other goose. She had no golden eggs inside of her at all, and they had no more golden eggs. Alas, now the farmer and his wife had lost the goose, and they would never get any golden eggs again. So Tofu, just like the couple suffered because they were greedy, you should be careful too, because too much greed always leads to great loss.
Oh, got it, Tia. I'll be careful next time. Will you help me to do my homework, Tia?
Tofu, it's dinner time and you haven't completed your homework yet? I hope you know that your teacher will be really angry.
I will do it after this cartoon, Tia. But please help me so that I can finish it fast.
You have been watching TV all day. You should get up and do your homework first.
My hand has been hurting since morning. I'm giving it some rest. Also, dear sister, will you please get my bag and pencil box from the room?
Excuses and more excuses. He should know his priorities right.
Where is my book? I can't find it here. Did I forget it in school? What will I tell my teacher in school?
You should be more responsible, Tofu. You are a big boy now. Anyway, complete the rest of your homework at least now, and be more careful next time onwards. Tofu, let me tell you a story. In a land far away lived a hard-working and kind trader. Mostly he traded in salt. He also had a horse that was very lazy and always avoided work. The trader used him to carry sacks of salt from one town to the other.
Here, let me load these sacks up and let's go to the town across the river to sell this salt. I am so tired today. Why do I have to work every day? I wish I could sleep throughout the day. But no, I have to carry these loads of salt and move. Come on, horse, start walking. Cross that bridge. Until then, I'll pack some food for myself.
The horse was crossing the river. Suddenly, he slipped and fell into the water. As he was carrying sacks of salt on his back, the salt got wet and dissolved in the water. So when the horse got up, the sacks on his back were lighter. The horse thought to himself, "Wow, this seems to be a good idea. Every time I dip in the river, the salt would dissolve and my burden could be less. I must try doing this more often. I hope Master is not watching." When the master reached the town to sell the salt, it weighed just half of what he loaded. Thinking it might be his miscalculation, he sold whatever salt was left and returned home with his horse. The next morning, he again loaded his horse with the sacks of salt and started to pack his food. The horse yet again started walking before him and made it to the bridge.
I must try the dipping trick again before Master reaches here. The trader got really confused as the sacks started weighing lesser every time. The horse purposely started slipping into the water every day so that the sacks became lighter. One day, the trader followed the horse. And hid in the bushes. To his surprise, he noticed the horse's new trick.
Oh, that's so cunning. I must teach this lazy horse a lesson soon.
So the following day, instead of salt, the trader filled the sacks with cotton and tied him to the horse's back. Out of his new habit, the horse purposely fell into the river.
Oh no, no! What is happening today? What is going wrong? How are these sacks getting heavier? Oh, my back hurts! What?
This time, as the sacks were filled with cotton, it soaked water and became heavier. The horse dipped again and again in water, thinking to drain the salt off somehow, but all went in vain. He somehow managed to get up and cross the bridge. He sat on the ground and panted as the sacks had gotten really, really heavy. The trader laughed at him and said,
Horse, I am your master. This is your work. I work very hard and worship my work. I don't make excuses or find tricks to fool others and avoid work. I must teach you to never repeat this and avoid your work.
The horse learned his lesson and never tried to avoid his work again. What a wise trader! Right, Tofu? He taught the lazy horse a good lesson. Come, let me give you the big, bitter medicine for your hand. But hey, I can see it's totally fine now. Maybe you have forgotten about the pain.
Tia, I never had any pain. I just wanted to sit and watch cartoons. I was the lazy horse today. I am sorry, Tia. I'm really worried about my teacher scolding me tomorrow.
Here, take your books, Tofu. I also was the trader today. I just wanted you to learn a lesson. Now you should promise me that you will always do your work, and yes, I will help you with your homework.
Oh, thank you, Tia. Please, let's finish my homework quickly. I don't want to be lazy at all. I will always finish all my work before doing anything else. I promise you that. Tia, aren't you going to your friend's party?
No, Tofu. Mummy has asked me to stay home with you tonight because she and Papa will be returning home late.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Tia. Because of me, you can't go to your party.
It's okay, Tofu. Sometimes we have to sacrifice things for the ones we love. Just like the Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid. Is it a story? Tell me, Tia, please.
The Little Mermaid. Once upon a time, there was a sea kingdom at the bottom of the sea. The king of the seas had 6 beautiful daughters who were mermaids. They were all very beautiful, but the youngest of them was the prettiest of them all. She had a gentle face, big round eyes, and a voice sweeter than anyone else's in the world. When the Little Mermaid turned 15 years old, her grandmother called her to her room. "Come, my darling. Today you have turned 15. And from now onwards, you can go to the world above. Just remember, the people above are very different from us. They do not have a beautiful fishtail like us. Instead, they have 2 legs."
Thank you, Grandmother. I have waited for this day for so long. When I return, I will tell you about everything I see above.
That night, the Little Mermaid went to the surface of the water. The sight of the stars and the cool breeze that touched her face took her breath away. She was just getting used to the feeling when she saw a big ship cross in front of her. Aboard it were many men, and they were celebrating the birthday of the young prince who had just turned 16. The Little Mermaid was mesmerized with the handsome looks of the prince. She couldn't take her eyes off him as the ship sailed past her. She was so lost in him that she did not notice the storm build up in the sky and the sea begin to rage. The ship had only sailed a little further when the storm shook it up. The sailors tried to stir it to safety, but many men, including the prince, fell into the sea. The Little Mermaid rushed to him and saved him from drowning She took him ashore.
Don't worry, you are safe. Open your eyes.
But the prince lay unconscious. The mermaid decided to get help. When she couldn't get any, she came back to where the prince was. She saw him surrounded by many people. A beautiful princess was kneeling by him as others worked to awaken him. The prince opened his eyes, and the little mermaid was relieved that her prince will be saved now.
You saved my life. Thank you.
The prince knew nothing about the little mermaid. He didn't even know that it was she who had actually saved his life. This broke the mermaid's heart. She went back to her father's home. She told her sisters and grandmother what had happened.
Forget him, child. Humans and we are very different. To be with him forever, you will have to get him to love you more than anything else he loves in the world, even more than his own parents. How will that ever happen? Think about it.
But the little mermaid could not forget the handsome prince. Every night she visited the spot where she had laid him after saving his life. One day, she decided to visit the witch in her father's kingdom. Maybe she knew a way that the mermaid could be with the prince.
Yes, there is a way. I can send you to the land above the sea. You will lose your fishtail and have legs. If by the second sunset you can get the prince to love you more than he loves his parents, then you can be with him forever. Otherwise, you will die and become foam in the sea. But in return, you must give me your voice.
But without my voice, how will I make the prince fall in love with me?
You still have your pretty face and eyes. You will also be the most beautiful dancer anyone has ever seen. Now go.
In a flash, the mermaid found herself on the land. Her fishtail turned into human legs. It caused her pain, but she could not even scream because the witch had taken her voice away. Somehow, the mermaid made her way to the prince's castle. There was a big celebration going on there, but the guards would not let the mermaid enter because they didn't know who she was, and she couldn't answer them when they asked her about it. So she was not allowed to enter. Somewhere in the castle, music started playing. Remembering what the witch had said about dancing, Little Mermaid started dancing.
Oh, I have never seen anyone dance so beautifully.
Maybe she has come to dance for the royal family in the celebrations. Oh, she is a dancer. Let me take her to the court.
Once the mermaid reached the royal court, she saw that the celebration was for the wedding of the prince. Little Mermaid was heartbroken. She thought the only way of meeting the prince now would be to dance and draw his attention towards her. And so she performed a beautiful dance for the royal family. When the prince saw her, he came up to her.
Hello, young lady. I have seen you in my dreams. Who are you?
In his heart, the prince hoped that she would be the one who had saved him from drowning. He longed to hear the voice that had saved him when he was dying. But no sound came out when the little mermaid tried to reply.
Forgive me. I think I am confused between you and someone else. But please do join us.
The prince led her to the ship on which the wedding was going to take place. Many people spoke to her, but she could not answer anyone. The princess was especially kind to her and took special care of her. I know you saved the prince that day. Thank you. Because of you, I have found the love of my life. Please always stay with us. The little mermaid saw that the princess and the prince loved each other and were very happy together. She decided not to pursue the prince anymore. He belonged to another woman. Although her heart ached to let him go, she happily attended the wedding and all the celebrations that went on throughout the next day. Soon it was evening. The second sunset was about to happen. The little mermaid knew she would die and become foam on the sea. As she stood there, looking at the prince and his princess, she heard some voices behind her. She turned around to see. Her sisters were there in the water. But all of them had very short hair now, instead of the long flowing locks they used to have earlier. Sisters, what are you doing here? We have come to save you. We went to the witch. In exchange of her hair, she gave us this knife. If you stab the prince through his heart before sunset, you can be saved. Handing the knife to the youngest sister, all the other sisters vanished under the water once again. The little mermaid stood there holding the knife to her heart. She looked at the newlyweds once again. She knew what she had to do. At the sunset, she tossed the knife into the sea. Goodbye, my love.
And so, for the happiness of her beloved prince, the little mermaid sacrificed her own life and joined the sea as foam.
Tia, this is such a beautiful story. It shows how much the little mermaid loved the prince. Thank you for not going to the party and staying with me.
That's because I love you, my little brother.
I love you too, my darling sister Tia.
Tofu?
But why so? I'm just trying to get my ball out.
But see those red ants. You better be careful.
Thanks, Tia.
Sit. I'll tell you an interesting story. The Fox and the Sick Lion. Once upon a time, there lived a lion in the forest. As the lion was growing old, he was unable to hunt for his food. He thought that without food, he would die of starvation. So the lion thought of a plan. He decided to lie down in the cave and pretend that he is ill. And whosoever will come to meet him will become his prey. Being the king of the jungle, the lion announced he was sick and summoned the animals to come and hear his last will. The lion put his sinful plan to practice and it started working. Poor animals didn't know about his wicked plan and fell into his trap. Many of his well-wishers got killed. One day, a fox came to visit the sick lion. The fox was clever and discovered the trick. He stood on the outside of the cave at a respectful distance and asked,
How are you, sir?
I am not feeling well at all. But why don't you come inside to meet me?
No, thank you, sir. I noticed that there are many prints of feet entering your cave, but I see no trace of any returning.
Still, if I come inside, I would be a fool.
And the fox saved his life and informed other animals too. So Tofu, the moral of the story is, you should never trust a fake person.
Tia, I can't do it.
Try, Tofu, you can.
Tia, I can't. Anyways, it's too high for me and I'm too short.
Listen, Tofu, I have a story for you. Would you want to hear it?
Sure.
The sour grapes. Once, in a forest, there lived a furry fox. He was wandering around the forest in search of food.
I am so hungry. I need to eat something.
The fox was passing a vineyard, but he wasn't aware it was one.
I am so hungry that I can't even see what that round thing is.
He went a little ahead, but stopped as he noticed the smell of the delicious grapes.
Wow, there are so many grapes in this vineyard. My mouth is watering.
The fox looked at the grapevine and drooled. The fox jumped up towards the grapes, but the grapes were too high for him. He tried and tried, but the effort was futile. He tried again, and this time he was about to touch them, but failed again.
Oh, I am so tired. These grapes are too high. I can't reach them at any cost.
He sat there and thought for a long time that how he can get those grapes. He suddenly got up and said to himself,
Those grapes are probably sour. In fact, I don't like grapes. Why should I try so hard for them?
The fox couldn't reach the grapes and hence escaped by making excuses. But his tummy kept growling of hunger and he had to go without eating anything. So Tofu, the fox had to go empty-handed because he just made an excuse. Always remember, you won't achieve your goals if you give up by making excuses. So let's go and try again.
are you trying to do, Tofu? I am trying to pluck mangoes from this tree, but the effort is going useless. That's because the mangoes are too far away and the stones are too heavy. Then what should I do, Tia? I really want those mangoes. Let me tell you a story. The Three Little Pigs. Once upon a time, there was a mama pig and three little pigs. One day, Mama Pig said to them,
You are old enough to build your own houses.
The first pig built a house of straw. He said,
Now the wolf can't come and catch me and eat me.
The second pig built his house with sticks, stronger than the first pig's house. He said,
Now the wolf can't come and catch me and eat me.
The third pig built his house with bricks, stronger than the second pig's house. He said,
Now the wolf can't come and catch me and eat me.
Next day, the wolf came to the house made of straw. The wolf knocked at the door and said,
Little pig, let me come in.
I will not let you come in,
said the little pig.
Then I will huff and puff and blow your house away,
said the wolf.
So he huffed and puffed.
The house of straw fell down, and the wolf ate up the first little pig. Next day, the wolf came to the house made of sticks. He knocked at the door and said,
Little pig, let me come in.
I will not let you come in,
said the little pig.
Then I will huff and puff and blow your house away,
said the wolf.
So he huffed and puffed and blew the house away.
The house of sticks fell down, and the wolf ate up the second little pig. Next day, the wolf came to the house made of bricks.
Little pig, let me come in.
I will not let you come in,
said the little pig.
Then I will huff and puff and blow your house away,
said the wolf.
The big bad wolf tried to huff and puff and blow the house down.
But he couldn't.
He kept trying for hours, but the house was very strong.
He tried to enter through the chimney, but the clever third little pig boiled a big pot of water and kept it below the chimney. The wolf fell into it and died. So, the way the third wise pig managed to escape from the wolf without using weapons, but through his wisdom, would you be able to do the same? For your favorite rhymes, stories, and more, join Kids Hut family. Subscribe here.